We also want to give Rupert a minute to talk about Monday, our upcoming Orlandopreneur event. How many of you have been to Orlandopreneur? All right.
Don't throw your arms up all at once there. So Orlandopreneur, we started it 2 years. We started it 2 years ago with the mission to help increase the quantity and quality of investable startups and small businesses in Central Florida. And we're now past 3,400 members, and our events average 140 plus people, and we already have over 200 RSVPs for this Monday night's event, which will be held at Elixir. We're back at Elixir. We were there in December, and they have a wonderful facility, and we're going to be hosting Rajiv, who's going to be talking about Startup Weekend. Startup Weekend is one of the best opportunities there are. If you have an idea for a business, clear your schedule that weekend and come to Startup Weekend and pitch your idea. Hopefully it's a good pitch. It'll get picked to be working with a team during the weekend. Then you get a team, you form one, and then you get to establish those relationships and build those relationships and build a product, right? Or hopefully a business. And at the end of the weekend, who knows what happens, right? Orlando's had 2 global champions, right, in consecutive years. I think that's when they decided not to do it anymore. They said, Orlando's going to keep doing this. So strongly suggest that you come to the event Monday night. It's free still. I buy the first drink. And our impact rating from the reviews from our customers is over 10 times the normal meetup impact rating. So suggest you come out there, meet new friends, make some great contacts, and hopefully you'll learn something as well. So thank you.
So today, the first presenter is going to be Mr. Rajiv Menon with HyperValidation and the AI-AIAR project.
Let's give a round of applause to Jim and the 1 Million Cups team. Thank you for hosting us. My name is Rajiv Menon. I have 3 companies. Informulate is my primary business. That is a consulting company that I've been running for almost 20 years now. As you heard from Rupert, I have a nonprofit that does events in the community that's been going for about 10 years. Super passionate about entrepreneurs, and the idea that we're going to share today is, of course, about entrepreneurship, called AIR. And we have a company called HyperValidation that does innovation experiences. How many people have heard about Orlando Magic Innovation Challenge? Okay, about half of you. So that was us. The HyperValidation team put that on in partnership with the Orlando Magic. We did that for 3 years, generated ideas that actually benefited and created new revenue for the Magic. So of course, doing events like this is wonderful, and we love it. We've been doing it for 10 years, but we realize it's a lot of work, and you can only hit a few dozen people at a time. So what do we do to make a bigger impact? Well, we have to scale it. We have to have something with, and especially in this day and age, it has to be something with AI. So let's talk about the problem statement before I give you the solution first. So most of you are familiar with these statistics here. There's over 5 million businesses that are being launched every year. 90% of those businesses will fail. We know that accelerators make a big difference. Like Scott here is starting a new accelerator called Proxenia. We've got some great accelerators here in town. They make a real difference. There's statistics that say it's 50 to 75% better outcomes in terms of survival rates to 5 years, raising funding, first revenue, and that kind of thing. But there's a massive supply-demand mismatch between people who need help, founders who need help with their businesses, and the help that is available. If you include all the NECs, SBDCs, accelerators all across America, there's only 27,000 slots every year for founders to get in and get the training and the help that they need. 90% plus of applicants to these startup accelerators do not get in. So that means we have millions of people that are out there not getting the help they would like. Let's talk about Jill. Jill is a founder. So she's a passionate leader. She works in corporate today. She wants to start her own business, but she has a lot of issues and headwinds that she's trying to overcome. She's never done this before. It's the first time for her. So what is the process of entrepreneurship? It's not like getting a job. It's very different. She may have some biases like, oh, I've seen X and Y do this. I've heard of Zuckerberg and how he did it. And there's some stories that are told out there. But she may have confirmation biases that, hey, as long as I do this, I'm going to be fine. There may be analysis paralysis. Maybe she's afraid to start because she doesn't know where to begin. And there's definitely going to be knowledge gaps. If she's really good at marketing, she may not be as good at operations. She may be really good at software, but she may not be good at fundraising. She may not be good at partnerships. So there's always going to be gaps there. And then we need to help her figure out what those gaps are, what the risks are, and help her overcome them, which is why we built AIR. It's going to give her the AI superpowers she needs to really do everything that she can do and give her, complement her with all the resources that she does not have, which is why we built this. As far as we know, this is the world's first and only self-paced AI-driven startup accelerator today. How do we do that? Well, the first big milestone is to get to revenue. And as I mentioned, we do Startup Weekend where we actually help more than half the teams generate revenue in their first weekend there. Think about that. In one weekend, in 2 days, you go from idea to revenue, and over half the teams at Startup Weekend do that every single year we do it. We can definitely do that through an app, and we've given people 90 days. So it's 90 days to go from idea to revenue, and we go through 4 very important modules. First of all, you need to be very crisp about what your idea is. Who's the customer? What's the problem? What is your proposed solution to get there? Second, you have to go talk to real customers. You can't do this in your own house. You can't do this in your own office. You have to talk to real people, find out what their problems are. So customer discovery is a big part of that. It actually gives you actual questions specific to your idea to go talk to customers, and it tells you where to find them. Then it's validation. Talking is great. You get a good idea of what they are, but money, currency, commitments matter a lot more than words. So we want to get people to pre-registrations, letters of intent. That's the validation that you need to move your idea forward. And then of course, you need to have a minimum viable product. You have to have something out there that people react to that gives you validation that your idea is not just something that people want a solution for, but the solution that you came up with is actually going to solve their problem. That's what we have with AIR today. How do we do that? We deliver that through 2 AI mentors. And this is from my personal experience, I've probably helped over 1,000 entrepreneurs personally. As I said, I'm very passionate about that. Have a nonprofit that's been running for 10 years. I'm also on the board of the Rally Social Enterprise Accelerator, and I've been mentoring for the whole time. I found that if you have 2 mentors working together, they're a lot more successful because one mentor can kind of have biases of their own, but 2 mentors working together actually reduces the biases and helps you get a balanced view on certain things. So we have 2 mentors and they come in with different perspectives. Arya has a user-centric, customer-centric focus, and Aiden has a business model monetization focus. They have different tones, they have different personalities, and they help you find different options on how you could proceed. Now, it's not just about the idea, it's about the innovations in delivering that idea. So we are pioneering what we call objective-driven AI. Everybody here is probably thinking the same question right now. I want to address that before you even get to Q&A is, well, we have ChatGPT. What does your app do that ChatGPT cannot do, right? How many people thought that question? Yeah, okay, that's what I usually get. Okay, well, ChatGPT has 3 major problems. One, it doesn't do anything until you do something first. It's just sitting there, right? It's not going to do anything until you do something first. Second, if you're a first-time founder, you don't know what you don't know. So what questions are you going to ask that's going to get you the answers you want about a topic that you don't even know about? You can't ask those questions. You're not even at that point where you can ask the right questions. Third, even if you do ask those questions, ChatGPT will only give you good answers if you provide the entire context, which means you need to talk about what your background is, what your idea is, what your competition looks like, what format you want the answer in, which stage of the journey are you in. Typing all that out is going to take you a long time, and you're probably going to miss a few things that are important. But guess what? ChatGPT isn't going to tell you you're missing anything. It's just going to respond to whatever you tell it, right? It's not going to help you fine-tune what your prompt is. It doesn't help you with prompt engineering, whereas AIR does. So every time you type a 2-sentence prompt, we are adding all the context about you, about your idea, and making sure that you get a high quality response that ends up making your prompt almost 2 pages long to make sure that you get the highest quality response. And we've tested this out in our feedback from our users. They've compared it side to side with ChatGPT. I don't think we have time for a demo, but if anybody's interested, I'm happy to go back to that slide. Here's some of our...
Hey everybody.
I did. Okay, there we go. So here's some of our testimonials, and if you can see right there, someone's actually used ChatGPT side by side, and they've found AIR to be a lot more successful in giving them the right feedback that they have. And these are all real. This is all real feedback from real users that are using the app right now. We have about 150 users on the app. We only launched a few months ago, and it is completely free. So if you're interested, you can actually download the app and play with it right now for free. It's on Android and iPhone. Now, that's one part, right? If you look at the user journey, we understand that piece well. A lot of you are entrepreneurial yourself, but we're actually looking at this market in a very different way. We're not looking to compete with accelerators. We're looking to partner with accelerators. Why? Well, accelerators have been around for a long time and they've been doing great work. We don't want to step on their toes. We want to help them be more successful because accelerators have a lot of resources that I don't need to reinvent, that people really want, entrepreneurs really want. Their network, their first customer introductions, their investors, the whole community that they've built over the last 10 or 15 years is very, very valuable. Why would we try to compete with that? Plus, they have a problem where all of those resources they have is underutilized because they can only work with a few dozen people a year. So what happens to all the people they rejected? They're not utilizing those resources. The investors want to see more deal flow. Customers want to see introductions to vendors that can solve these problems. But accelerators can't deal with that. They don't have the capacity. They have low connectivity to the folks that they rejected. They never hear from them again. The folks who graduated, we don't know what happens to them. People don't like filling up surveys and just giving you updates on, hey, here's where we are today. Here's where we are, 3 months from now. So they lose connectivity. That's the problem with what accelerators face today, and they cannot provide support to issues that they don't know about. Because of these issues, AIR can be that partner that bridges the gap where we work with accelerators. Accelerators refer us, and they don't have to disrupt anything in their current planning, in anything in terms of their current operations. They literally just refer us to the folks that they're rejecting today. That's all we need. We'll take it from there. We'll connect with those startup founders. We will get them to the point they need to be where they can reapply and be part of the active cohort. So the accelerator literally changes nothing. And because we do revenue share, they now have a new revenue stream. As I mentioned, AIR is live today. This is the same QR code. You can go to there as well. Feel free to try that out. I would love your feedback too, of course, as you download it and try it out. If you send us an email, info@hypervalidation.com. That's our email right there. Love to get your feedback. So the market size, and the QR code's there too if you need it. The market size is pretty significant. We can generate $1 billion if we cover the whole addressable market, and the obtainable market is actually globally is about $1 billion per year. So that's pretty significant for us. We have a low-end market and a high-end market. The high-end market is where accelerators have a massive knowledge base that they want to deploy to their users. We can take their unique experience in specialized domains such as fintech, health tech, ed tech, and we can bring that into AIR as well. That feature doesn't exist today, but that's on our roadmap to do. And right now we're at the low end of the market, but we have a plan and a roadmap to get to the high end as well. That's our team. Ashley is right there. Ashley, say hi. So if you want to connect with us, she is our manager for outreach and partnerships, and so she has plenty of great content that she can share with you as well if you're an accelerator that's looking to connect with us, or if you're a founder trying to use the app. So that's the presentation. I will leave that last slide up so you can do it, and I'd love to take your questions.
Great. Questions? Go ahead, Jason.
Yes, sir.
Who's your market? Because originally you said there were about 40,000 looking for it, and this seems like it would be a larger scope. So who's your market that you're trying to get?
Did you say 40,000? What was the 40,000 again?
In your slide, you said there were 40,000 companies looking for it, but only 27,000 we're getting?
No, there's millions. There's millions of, there's 5 million new businesses that are being launched in the US every year. And there's millions of them, and that's just per year. So imagine in the last 5 years, that's 15 million, right? Or last 5 years is 25 million. Sorry, where's my math? So there are millions of companies that are looking for support that don't have it. And so our market is to serve those businesses, but rather than going direct B2C, we're going B2B2C. So we have actually 2 clients. One is the end user that's actually using the app, and the other is the accelerator that we're partnering with to deliver the app to them. So it's a white label, multi-tenant SaaS platform, if you will, that allows the accelerator to put their branding on the app. So when you hear about AIR, right now you're hearing about it from me, but chances are if you're a business person or an entrepreneur, you'll likely hear about it from like a Veterans Entrepreneurship Institute or from LEAD, Lake Nona, or someplace else, and they'll tell you about AIR, which has their branding on it. So we're actually making sure that the accelerators are successful and they are able to leverage this technology. So that's also our customer. Yeah.
Rachel?
Would you say this is more for like a SaaS company, or could like a tangible like manufacturing business user or someone who's maybe not that tech savvy but want to add more tech to their business so they're existing and they're not brand new?
That's a great question. Yep. So we've tested this out. We've tried it with rocket ship ideas. We've tried it with hardware ideas. We've tried software ideas, B2B, B2C, and it works great. We were actually very pleasantly surprised when we launched in October, November of last year that the response quality was one of our first concerns, and we've not had a single complaint about it. Everybody who's used it has been very happy, putting all kinds of different ideas, and it still works fine. So you don't have to be a tech company to use it. Yeah. Scott?
How do you address,
My turn or Scott's turn?
No, you had your hand up first.
If you could go back, please, to the market overview side.
Uh-huh.
It's in the other direction, exactly.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand which market are we looking at right now, like the total addressable market? Is it the accelerator market, or what are we looking at in particular at these numbers? I didn't get it.
Yeah, so if we look at the potential monthly subscription rate, which is 20 to 40 for the low end. Does this have a pointer? I don't know if it does.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, there we go. So if you look at that, that's our monthly subscription for the low end of the market. If every single new entrepreneur was using the app, that would be the total addressable market of 7.2 billion. But if you take a fraction of that, if you take a fraction of what's possible users, what percentage of that, we looked at about 1/5 of the percentage of that might be interested in using a service like ours, right? But then we're probably going to have competitors. We have 0 competitors today, direct competitors. We do have indirect competitors like ChatGPT and all that. So if you split that market between us and our competitors, we're thinking we can capture this percentage of that. So I think it's very conservative. If we can get the investment, we're looking for investment, by the way, we're raising for 1.25 right now. So that'll help us get to that number. Yeah.
A following question, maybe. So you have multiplied those potentially 5 million startups per year times the entry level or the, okay.
Right. And they can do the same thing with the high end of the market. This is a smaller number of people, but because we're charging $300 to $500, it's actually pretty comparable in terms of both. And this is just in the US. If you multiply that by 3x for the global English-speaking market, that would be it. And of course, we can also do translation to go after the rest of the international market too. Yeah.
Scott?
how does AIR address accountability, getting people to actually do the things that they know that they should do?
Yeah.
Which is a huge problem, I can even say with me, and getting, and I'm the one that's pushing me.
Yeah.
So how does it push the entrepreneur to actually do the thing?
That's a great question. So we'll do our best, right? You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So we'll do our best so we have a pretty powerful notifications module. And some of the questions we ask when you're onboarding is, why are you doing this in the first place? Why do you care so much about this problem, right? And then we echo that back, and we have both Arya and Aiden sending you messages on a daily, weekly basis, reminding you where you are and what you need to do to get to the next step. So we will echo back to you, hey, remember you, Scott, you really wanted to do this because you care about this problem. And we'll give you motivational messages, we'll give you milestone reminders, we'll give you links to content that's related to your competitors and other kinds of drips that are unique to you to try our best to push you along. But of course, at the end of the day, if you don't do it, you don't do it. Can't help you with that. So, but we do try our best to make sure that the entrepreneurs are well supported. Another piece that I didn't mention, but we want to add, we haven't got to that feature yet, is there's 80,000 AI startups out there in the world, and there's new ones coming up every single day. We don't want to compete with every single AI startup out there, but our entrepreneurs need all kinds of services. They need legal, they need HR, they need marketing, they need code generation, they need landing pages. We're just going to allow our app to become a platform at that stage. Right now, all these agents are built by us, but in the future, we would just allow them to find the right agents that's going to help them with their process. But guess what? We're going to be the ones who knows exactly what stage you're in and which agents could help you the most at this stage and give you recommendations that you could potentially use. So that'll become a revenue share, a separate revenue opportunity for us. Thank you for the question.
So just to be clear, what the application does is it's virtual coaching for startups, ideation to startup to MVP. Does it produce like deliverables, from the standpoint of like investor letters, slide decks, pitch decks? You said it, obviously formats and gives the context of the prompts.
Right.
And are those things, I'm asking like multiple questions here, so.
Yeah, no, that's a great question.
Are those things other tools that you're feeding that information into, or just chat GPT directly, or is that something you guys have developed?
That's a great question. So we haven't developed it yet, but it's one of the first things on our roadmap right now. So we launched, as I said, the MVP version was launched in October, November. This is an active development right now, right? So it's continuing to roll out new features every month. We rolled out a full UI user experience overhaul in January. We're launching this month is when we're launching the multi-tenant features where an accelerator can come in, they can onboard their users, and they can launch their white label offering. That's going to happen. We're actually in testing for that right now. The next feature we're talking about is that. So we want the ability for people to upload their business plans and things like that. So we don't need to ask you 50 questions. If you've already answered all of this in a business plan, just upload the business plan. We'll pull out the information from there. That's the import feature. And then the export feature would be slide decks. It would be business models, value propositions, marketing copy. So we can export a number of different things. We haven't built that yet, but that's definitely on our roadmap for next month.
Hey, Rajiv.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful presentation. Thank you for that. My question, I have actually multiple technical questions that I have regarding the accuracy of the, but I'm not going on that. The question is regarding how do you synchronize, let's say, Accelerator A and your philosophy?
Good question, yes. Sure. So the question was, if you're working with an Accelerator A and they have a different philosophy than what AIR does, how do you reconcile the two? That's a great question. And so that is also a feature we've envisioned is we want the ability for accelerators to import their own knowledge base and tweak the milestones. That probably won't go live this year because it's more complicated and it does require us to have more of a high touch interaction. But we do have a health tech accelerator that we're talking to right now that has 50 GB of information. They pay hundreds of dollars per hour for subject matter experts in healthcare. And they can save tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars per year if they cut their costs in half for how much they're paying for these services. So we're actually partnering with them, but it's going to take a custom approach right now for the first one. And we're going to try to find ways to make that easily replicatable where you could potentially define your own milestones. We have 4 milestones. You could define your own milestones. You could have best practices for each milestone. And we have to make that a little bit more cookie cutter before we can really allow you to customize it to that level. So our initial approach is going to be for accelerators that are a good fit. And then in the future, next year, we want to allow accelerators that want to customize things more.
All right, fantastic. All right, so we're at time, but thank you so much for presenting. This is a great idea. You guys were at an event at the library, right, about a month and a half ago?
Yes.
Rachel was manning your table,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
Okay, I had mentored her early on. Great system. She walked me through it. It's really a great project for what
Can I
we're doing.
do a quick shout out for Startup Weekend before I go?
Yeah, real quick.
Thank you. So Startup Weekend is in 2 weeks. As I mentioned, this Startup Weekend is a live experience of what the app does. We have, AC has some discount coupons to give out for Startup Weekend as well. Of course, please come to the Orlandopreneur event, which is Monday as well, and we can talk more about Startup Weekend. One of the most successful companies to ever come out of Startup Weekend was Leesecake, and they came through a 1 million cups event just like this in 2017. The founder was sitting right here where you're sitting. He didn't even know if he wanted to pitch the application. He got a coupon, he took it, he came to the Startup Weekend, he pitched the idea. Not only did he win first place, he won first place globally in Techstars. He got a lot of recognition. He was invited to the Techstars conference. And now they've landed like $20 million in funding, and they've created dozens of jobs here. So that actually happened right here like 8 years ago. So hopefully some of you can do that this year. Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Nice.
All right, perfect. So now we are going to learn a little bit about something that I think some of us might be able to use. We have Miss Sarah Edwards here from the Small Business Association, and she's going to share with us about disaster recovery, right? Disaster assistance.
My name is Sarah Edwards, and I'm with the U.S. Small Business Administration, and I'm here to talk about disaster loans. I don't know how many people were impacted by Helene or Milton. Was anybody here impacted by the hurricanes? Well, we are here to help anybody who might have been impacted directly. If you say we're right in the line of the hurricane and you suffered any structural damage to your property, or if you were impacted economically. A lot of times with businesses, they might lose customers and therefore revenue when a disaster hits, and we can even help with that too. We offer low interest disaster loans that for a year you have no obligation to pay back. For, like I said, for businesses, nonprofits, and even homeowners and renters. So we cover a pretty broad, oh yeah, this is me.
So that's forward. That's the laser.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, our mission is to connect individuals, businesses, and private nonprofits with SBA disaster loans, and that's why I'm here. And like I said, we help businesses, homeowners, nonprofits, and even renters if they suffered from the disaster. And I know that Florida, and yeah, our goal is, a lot of people know about this Small Business Administration when it comes to when they're starting a business. However, we're not just here to help you get started, we're here to sustain you throughout the entire life of your business. And our disaster program is one such program that helps you do that. And like I said, it includes any damage to your property, your personal property. So a lot of startups might not own like a physical structure. You might work from home, for example. And if your personal property was at all impacted, we can also help you with that too. Economic injury, which might impact small businesses. Your customer base not able to utilize your business at all because a disaster hit them. We could help you with that as well. Any personal property that you might use even to, that you might use for your business, we can help you with that, inventory, etc. We offer a large amount of money for businesses, as you can see, up to $2 million. And that is for the physical structure, if it say were impacted. However, say for example, your home was impacted, that's up to $500,000, which is a pretty hefty amount. Your personal property, up to $100,000, and economic injury up to $2 million. A lot of people know economic injury from our PPP loan, which happened during COVID. So that's an example of that type of loan that could help with that, because that shut everybody down, everybody's business was impacted. The PPP was able to step in and help people out. We also provide a mitigation loan, which can help you to upgrade your property to prevent from any future damage. Okay. So again, this is about our economic injury disaster loan. And I mentioned with COVID and the PPP, are you guys familiar with that loan? Did anybody? Yeah. utilize that. Yeah, most people, that's how they, aside from the SBA when you start, most people were introduced to the SBA again through that loan program, but it's pretty good. It helped businesses stay afloat. And we still offer that, again, up to $2 million for economic injury. So for businesses in total, it's up to $4 million that you might be able to get if, say, your business was impacted structurally or economically. And this, again, is about our mitigation. Of course, in Florida, you know that we're constantly under threat of some sort of disaster. And in order to prevent any damage, from happening, we offer a mitigation loan, which can help you upgrade your property so that you're not impacted as greatly, say, next time around. The requirements, you have to be in an area that was impacted, right? So if you were Direct Line, Orlando is an impacted area. However, for economic injury loans, if your customer base was impacted and you are in a contiguous area, is what we call it, you too can apply for our economic injury disaster loan. So for your customer base, again, they're not able to, it impacts your revenue, you can apply for our economic injury disaster loan and be able to receive this benefit. We do, of course, go off of your credit history. The repayment, like I mentioned, 1 year, there's no requirement to repay this loan back. But there's also not a penalty if you do repay it within the year's time. Okay. Again, this just details out all of the benefits. There's no fee to apply. You can apply in person. We have a business resource center located in the Pine Hills area at Barnett Park. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that area. Yeah, you live there. So it's 4801 West Colonial Drive. And you can get with me after this if you want more information about where to go. You can also go to our website, which is www.sba.gov/disaster. And like I said, there's no fee, low interest rate, between 2% and 5% of interest. No payments, no interest for the first 12 months, like I said before, and no penalty if you do repay in that time period. So there's no late fees. Yeah. Our funds are generally available before you even get an insurance settlement. So for a lot of people, that's really helpful, right? So if your home has been impacted, you work from home, you're starting your business from, you can contact us even prior to your insurance stepping in. And we actually, a lot of times, come through before that happens. Our process takes about 2 to 3 weeks, generally, from start to finish. If you have all your paperwork together, that includes your financial paperwork and any pictures of damage, the process is pretty seamless. Our flexible terms are up to 30 years. So no year or 1 year, no repayment, no interest, and about 30-year lease term. So it's pretty good terms. Yeah, you can also use these funds to move locations if, say, you need to. If you decide, you know what, I can't take it here anymore, I don't want to be hit by another storm, it's just time to go. You can use these funds in order to do that. This just tells you how to start the application process. Like I mentioned, we have a physical location here in Orlando at Barnett Park. And you can also go to www.sba.gov/disaster. Cell phone, email addresses were out. This is all that you'll need in order to apply. It's pretty standard. Your financial information, of course, your social security number, address of your damage, pictures of any damage. Just make sure to bring that because that's most important and most helpful because it lets us know what actually happened. And if there was economic injury, you need to be able to show that on your profit and loss statements if, say, you're doing this for your business. This is a portal that you'll get set up if you go on our website. That says lending, that's not correct. It's www.sba.gov/disaster. That's what you go to. And then from there, you'll set up a portal. And like I said, the process, as long as you have all your paperwork together, takes about 2 to 3 weeks. And this just shows you what it's like to go through. And when you go to our center, they can walk you through this, but it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy to go through. So I'm going to kind of shift through this. Okay. Yeah, if you end up needing additional funds, you can't even modify this loan, right? If you do get approved and you get a certain amount and you're like, you know what, I actually need more than this, you can come back to us. So say, for example, your home was damaged and you decided, okay, I'll take up to $500,000, but also your property was damaged too, and you need more money for that, you can apply for that too. Say you have a business and you were impacted economically, you can apply for economic injury, you can apply for your home loan disaster, and you can apply for the property damage as well. So you can stack these loans pretty much. And we, of course, work with other resource partners, the SBDC. We are the SBA. I am not, the person you come to if you want to start your business, but, if you've had a disaster, you can talk to me. SCORE, our other partners, so. Okay, yeah. And this right here gives you all the information you need if you say want to apply. I've mentioned before sba.gov/disaster. That's our 1-800 number if you say you just want to call. And you can visit us at Barnett Park and we can help you, walk you through the steps to sign up for our loans. So, yeah, thank you so much for having me. Pretty quick presentation. Let me know if you have any questions.
We'll do a Q&A right now.
Okay.
And then you can come up and see. Anybody have any questions?
Any question?
When did you put these slides together?
Well, I put the slide together a week ago, I think.
What is the latest status?
The status of,
The way things are going on
say that one more time?
in the government, the way that it's managed,
Yeah.
anybody can get any loan anymore?
Yeah, you can. We're still available. We're still here. We will be, this loan has been extended, and I forgot to mention, through April the 27th. So, yeah. But we still have money, as far as I know. Nobody's been shut out. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had me here. So, yeah, we still have loans available for anybody who might need it, yes.
You said the interest was 2 to 5%. What makes the difference?
I credit history, I think, goes into that. However, the general is about 3.2%. I've not heard very many people get above that, honestly. Yeah. Any other questions? No. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, interesting. So if any of you can qualify for some government money, they've been finding enough of it lately, so would be in good hands, which is good. I want to just share, too, a real quick resource. Rajiv made a great comment in his presentation where he said, so many people come from that employee mentality into trying to run a business, and they don't understand the business, and a lot of it's mental. There is a great video that Darren Hardy did. Darren was the publisher of Success Magazine. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Making the Shift. It's about an hour long, and it's really well worth watching, and I'd watch it 2 or 3 times because he really can walk you through that mental toughness that you're going to need as coming as an entrepreneur, but also help you understand the difference and what it takes to work through to create a successful entrepreneurship business.
Can you say it again?
What's that?
Say it again.
The Shift, Making the Shift. Darren Hardy. So he has some great stuff out there too with goal setting and all kinds of stuff. These are some of our sponsors here. Tech Hub Orlando is where we are. ONG Labs, UCF, Future Funders. Donut Central provides us our donuts. And Peter with Salai Coffee provides the coffee every week. Also, Kirkendall Insurance, Orlandopreneur, we heard from Rupert earlier. Driven One Digital is Tim. Back there, Stoic Dan provides our resources that we need and that we have for online things. John Swanson back here, the real estate detective. And then Legal Shield Business Solutions is me. And then these are some of our organizers, those on the organizing committee, if you would raise your hand. So if any of you here that are guests or for the first time, you have questions, like to know more about this, please come find us after the meeting. We'll be more than happy to help you with that. And also, we meet here every Wednesday. The neat thing is that this community, Orlando, not Orlando, 1 Million Cups, nationally in every time zone at 9 a.m. does a similar type of meeting all across the country. So there's over 100 different chapters where entrepreneurs can come in, can come get some help, come get some resources, make introductions and things that they need to know. And then you can like, follow, and share us on these different social media platforms. If you want to know what's going on week to week, Meetup tends to be the most up-to-date most of the time. And you can thank Eric for taking care of a lot of that. And then connect with someone. Make sure you go to like one of the local coffee shops that are out there. I've been going to CFS Coffee on Church, Coffee for the Soul. Great little coffee shop. I didn't realize, I thought that was like the only one. They've got them all over the place. Great little stuff. So why would you want to come here, and why would you want to present and share your project? Well, number one, you could attract investors. You never know who's going to be in the audience that's here. Future Funders, who's one of our sponsors that I mentioned earlier, they are working with early stage startups, 30 to 50,000 type range to help companies. Also, marketing and brand awareness. Let people know you're there. Let people know who you are. Hiring and retaining talent, networking and partnerships, and most importantly, practice and feedback, and that's going to help you grow. Remember, most people think I can't fail, and we have this mentality in school, you don't want to fail. Well, that's the worst thing you can instill in people, and especially entrepreneurs. The faster you fail, the faster you succeed. Make mistakes. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to open your mouth and talk to somebody and share what you're doing. They're not rejecting you if they say no, they're just rejecting your project or whatever it is you're working on. And then that way it'll also help you refine your pitch. What do you do? So that's important. You'll also find on the bottom of the slide here, the 1millioncups.com/Orlando. You're going to go there if you want to sign up to present. So you put in your information, we'll get notified of that. Somebody will reach out and contact you, and then we can help you get set up to present and share your project here. So I want to say thank you, and we'll see you all next week in 166 and a half hours. It's more seconds than that and more minutes, but come back and also get to meet somebody and go get a cup of coffee together. Go get to meet one another and learn from each other. You never know what could happen. So with that, guys, have some more coffee and donuts and hang out and network a little bit.